So when are events coming back? That's a question I've heard for months by now. And I think a lot of people want to know because they crave that person-to-person interaction. People have business strategies, people had sales, people had personal development, people had team development. They had all kinds of aspects of their personal life and their business life that were dependent on events. So when all these events got canceled last year, as this was happening, I was noticing that there was a building necessity for people to have events. So I asked myself a question. If there were to be an event that would be invaluable, that would actually help people get from where they are to where they want to be and be able to scale themselves, them individually, because we all only have 24 hours in a day. So no matter what stage you're at in your business, no matter what amount of sales that you've been making, no matter how many people you have on your team, no matter how many things are on your to-do list, you all only have the same amount of time to get it done. So we personally, unless we have a better system and we learn how to scale ourselves, we all hit a certain ceiling. And at some point we're running, and we either burn out. Because what happens when you are stretching a rubber cord and you push it and you squeeze it and pull it. At some point, the more that you pull it, it snaps, right? Like a rubber band or like one of those exercise resistance cords. The more that you're doing that, the problem is that you're trying to add more onto your schedule, add more onto your to-do list, add more onto your goals, add more onto the meetings that you're doing, trying to cram more things in. And what happens is if you have a family or you have a personal life or you have health, or you have your own mental energy and well-being and that quality of life component, those things start to get put on the back burner because you're prioritizing something that doesn't actually support the things that really matter to you at the end of the day. The things that really matter to you when you check out of the office or business or start getting ready to go to sleep at night, or you wake up in the morning and it's a holiday season and you want to know, who can I spend this with? I have all this money. I have all these employees. I built this brand. I have whatever it is that you've achieved. I haven't actually built the community and the connections and the relationships that help me build the emotional wealth. And so the truth is that I don't think events were ever really gone. I think they were just postponed. And the reason why we're doing this is because 2.5 weeks from now, this live event that we're putting on here in South Florida is for all the people that feel that they've needed events for the last year and the events they were looking forward to happening, right? They booked maybe back in 2019, they booked events for 2020, and then those events didn't happen. So we're creating something small, something intimate, not small in thinking, small in size, small in level of how intimate the group is going to be, but big in terms of how big we're going to go and who we're going to have there. And what we're gonna build from that 2.5 days together. And specifically, the wisdom behind this is that people are craving to be in person. There's only so many Zoom calls. There's only so many different ways that you could make a Zoom call and Zoom pitch and a video exciting, or messaging back and forth on email, social media, DMs, whatever it is. At some point, you feel that you need that human connection. And because we crave that human connection, one of the things we're going to teach people is how do you actually build rapport with someone that you haven't met before? How do you leverage that in-person connection? Because they say that the words that you use are only a small percentage of the actual communication. I don't remember if it's like 7%, right? But it's something like over 90% of communication is actually not about the text, the actual language of the words that you're using. So events have always been there. We've tried to just squish them into a Zoom room or into, Blue Jeans or Skype or Google Meet or one of these other venues. But events have always been around. They've always been going. They've just tried to change their formatting. The problem is that people still crave that human connection. And people crave it now more than ever because social distancing was like the worst term that you could have come up with. People didn't need social distancing. They needed maybe physical distancing, but they needed social connecting. And so we're bringing that to this event. But we don't want just to be hundreds of people or 500 people. We want it to be an intimate group of, let's say, 30 or so people because we want people to feel like they're building this network, this community of people from which they launch the next year of their life and business, from which they launch to the next stage, and where people can come together and feel that they can be vulnerable and share, here's what's really going on behind the scenes. I can't even tell you how many times I've spoken to people who have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of connections, followers, influencers, people who have a very large personal or company brand. But when you peel back that layer, it's nowhere near as shiny as it looks on that glossy photo, right? The Instagram worthy photo. And so what this event is about, it's about for people who have whatever it is that's going on in the public eye, that they can come to this event, this private event, in this small intimate group and share, here's what's not working. Let's dig in and create change that is sustainable, that actually lasts through the year, and that is, so to speak, corona proof, right? It's not that the corona or the next changes or the political changes or whoever knows what changes are coming in 2021, because we all know changes are coming. It's not those things that can stop you. It's about, as I once heard the saying, hold the vision, not the circumstance. Holding the vision of what we had intended, what we have in mind for the year ahead, and even from 2020. And how do we actually sustainably build that? And the reason why this event, I think, is coming at such an important time is because when people understand what's going on inside them more deeply, from hearing what's going on inside the person next to them sharing and seeing that person having a transformation, that person literally breaking through what's been holding them back, it's an invitation, it's a permission slip for people to say, wow, let me look at what's going on with me. Let me look at and give myself permission, because if they could really improve from all those things that are the gaps in their life, the gaps in their business, the holes in what they got going on in their day-to-day, then maybe I also have things that I can also work on, because they seem really successful. So maybe it's not about how successful I look or feel or think that I am. Maybe success also has the ingredient of being connected in a group and being able to look at and say, what really has to happen for me to get to the next level? And when you bring the energy of being in a physical room, that physical space, that allows people to feel that they can literally just totally let go of all that, the stress, the worry, the energy, I'm trying to connect with people through a screen. And we're literally removing the screen, right? That the screen is like the technological mask. And we're removing that to allow people to be in the energy, in the room, in the space. And we're probably going to be one of the first to do it. There might be some events going on, but definitely not for the Orthodox business owner. And so we're doing something that no one else is doing because no one else is doing it. And therefore people need it even more. Obviously, we're going to be smart about COVID. It's COVID conscious. We have more details coming for the attendees about what that works and how it's going to work. But people need it even more because no one else is doing it. And so in business is basically two things. Peter Drucker once said. Peter Drucker was a major financial guru in terms of the financial investment world. And he said, business boils down to two things: marketing and innovation. So what we're doing is we're innovating what everyone else is not doing. We're creating that in an event, and we're marketing that to the people that crave it most, which are the established business owners who also have a team, who also are struggling with time, who are looking to scale themselves without sacrificing their business. By scaling themselves means that they're not going to be working 12, 15, 20-hour days, because that's not what is sustainable. That's not why they got into their business in the first place. So excited for people to be interested about when are events coming up. Events are already here, and this one is in 2.5 weeks. So the question is, will you be there? Is this something that could transform your business? Is this something that could transform your life? If you're in a room with people and you build a connection, you build a cohort with people who are like-minded and moving forward, and you feel that energy, you feel that excitement, you feel that drive of people saying, no matter whatever it takes, no matter what shows up this year, no matter what's going on in the economy or corona or politics or whatever it is, we will find a way and we're going to make it happen. And they're going to walk away with a plan, a clear written, not a typed one, a written plan, something that you could hold in your hand, you can touch it with food that you can actually eat, not just look at on Instagram, right? We're talking about the real thing, because the human connection is built to be in person. And we're bringing people back into the room